Happy Monday and welcome back to On the Sidelines with Sav. Tonight we are talking all things ACC Week 5 recap. I have a repeat guest in Nick. He is also one of the people who runs ACC Just Means Less. Nick, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight?
Not too bad. I think I told you how I'm doing before we got on with my car breaking down like 2 hours ago. So if you're a fan of Just Means Less ACC and you're wondering why we didn't go on and why Nick is here with Savannah, it's because unfortunately I had to push back our show. It didn't really work out, but I told Savannah I'd be on later when Mike and I were done. So we're just going to do a big show on Wednesday, but I'm good. I'm glad that I'm able to talk some college ball on a Monday night regardless.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's a good point. I keep telling, I got a text to my family group chat today because a family member passed away.
I'm sorry.
No, but like they thank you. They were like, it was time kind of thing. But I texted the family group chat. I say that to say, like, in all caps, I would really love it if one thing could go right for somebody in our family these days, because everything's just crazy. Feels like life is lifing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I will probably make a guest appearance on Wednesday night show because I just guilted Micah into saying that he hated me. So,
of course you did.
All right, let's get into it. Week 5 recap. I usually just go in order of when the games happen. So I feel like I wouldn't normally start with Florida State getting upset at Virginia, but it was the first ACC game of the weekend. So I have lots of thoughts, but what are your thoughts?
Oh man, so many thoughts on this game. Obviously, this was the biggest game of the weekend. Yes. In fact, it was so big. Like Mike and I do the same thing where we just go in order of time. But we purposely, when we previewed this game, saved it last because we just thought like this is the biggest game of the week. So we're just going to save it last. But it turned out to be like that. My initial thoughts were Virginia is good. Obviously, Chandler Morris is a dog. I mean, I heard this on a podcast that you and I both listened to, Savannah, Unnecessary Roughness, and I believe it was Liam Blutman had the most perfect like comparison or like what college football is. And when you think of college football, that's what that game was. And Chandler Morris is like the perfect college quarterback. He's making all these crazy plays. He's making some mistakes, which, college quarterbacks often do. Yeah. But it was like a great microcosm of what college football is and what like a crazy, fun college football quarterback is like. So that was my initial thoughts. I think it was one of the greatest field storms in history. I don't think there's going to be any field storm that tops that. Just the pure fact that those students were right there. There's nothing like stopping them. There's no wall you have to climb over. Yeah. There's no bushes you have to hop over. Barely any security. Like you're right there at the end zone. I think I tweeted it out from our podcast account, JML, 5 minutes before the game ended. And I think I said, this is going to be something along the lines of the students being right there on the field is like one of the most underrated things I think we haven't talked about in this game, or the announcers have talked about. But and then coming on the Florida State side, I mean, it was definitely a challenge spot. Like Friday night, they had a really weird bye between like two FCS schools, or FCS and a G5.
Yeah.
They haven't been challenged since Alabama. And I think if you're a Florida State fan, you could still keep your heads held high, like thinking like we went on the road on a Friday night. this was like Virginia's biggest game of the year, biggest game in like 20 plus years.
Yeah.
They know they're good. They have a good quarterback. And the fact that Alabama beat Georgia, now they're resurrected. Like Alabama's back in the conversation. Like that win still means something to Florida State. So going down the road, I think Florida State would be fine.
Yeah, I totally agree. I tweeted out, I don't remember the exact, I can probably pull it up in our chat. I said something like, I was getting crap for picking Florida State in our picks, but I literally tweeted and on Monday and I said, honestly, the ACC game I'm most excited for this week, FSU at UVA. If there's one school that can knock off FSU at home, it's going to be UVA. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I honestly, I wanted Florida State to win for multiple reasons. Not that I'm anti-UVA. It's just that it looks better for the ACC had they won, right? And then we get game day this weekend, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I knew for some reason, I just knew that UVA was going to knock them off. Yeah, that field storming was crazy. People don't know this. Like real sickos will know that when Scott Stadium is bumping, it's bumping, but it's not very often. Someone said Florida State still has to face NC State, who already beat UVA, which is facts. That's our lone NC State bright spot, I would say, is that we did beat UVA. And matter of fact, Florida State does have to also come to Carter Finley on a Friday night. So, yeah.
And they don't do well up in Carter Finley. They're historically not well. And like it's been a very tight series dating back the last 10, 15 years. It's been like, there's no domination, I want to say. Like NC State has kept this, rivalry a little close. So it's going to be a challenge, I think.
Yeah. Someone said it the other day. They were like on Twitter, they were like, wow, we don't get Clemson in a down year and we get Florida State in their best year. And I'm like,
yeah,
nothing less would happen to me. Honestly, that's so fact. Okay. Anyways, overall, yeah, great game. Honestly, I think it was like one of the best games of the weekend. There was a lot of good games this weekend, to be honest, but for a Friday night game, it was electric. Next game on the docket was, I guess, Georgia Tech at Wake Forest. That was next, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
The ACC, I haven't been on Twitter today, Savannah.
That's for the best.
Yeah. So I haven't seen a statement yet, but man, Wake was stolen a win. That they got robbed of a win. That I was working all day Saturday, Savannah. We had the Wake Georgia Tech game on at the Dioli.
Yeah.
At the period where things kind of slowed down, like we could actually watch it for a minute. I mean, my brother and I looked at each other like, holy crap. That defensive end was 3 yards over the line of scrimmage, easily. Ashford obviously takes the throw or throws it down the field thinking he has a free play. Georgia Tech escaped with a huge victory. Thank you, Stanford football updates. I can't believe he's here too. They were robbed. Wake Forest was robbed of a win. I don't think their record really says how good Wake Forest actually is, because you and I were both at the NC State Wake Forest game.
Yeah.
And they came out guns a-blazing from like kickoff, right?
Yeah.
They ran the opening kickoff off touchdown. And they're up 14-0 before like you're halfway through the first quarter. Like this Wake Forest team has like really good attributes, really good pieces. I think when Robbie Ashford is, kind of finds a groove, he can be pretty good. Obviously, Damon Claiborne is a dog. I think their O-line is getting better. I think their defense is a little underrated. This team could be 4-0. Like we could be talking a 4-0 Wake Forest team if they didn't. Yeah, you blew a 17-3 lead, and you did blow the lead at NC State a couple of weeks ago. But
No,
Man,
yeah,
I was heartbroken for those guys. That was tough.
I think what makes it even more tough is knowing that the same officiating problem happened for us the week before in the NC State game at Duke.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like literally same exact thing. And Wake Forest, I don't remember if it was their head coach or who had said something like, there's one thing that was out of our control that they got wrong that cost us the game, but there's a lot of things that were in our control that also cost us the game. So we're going to focus on those. I thought that was like a good way to phrase it. Unfortunately, that's just the way it works. But yeah, they were totally robbed.
Mhm.
Someone tweeted this week and was like, I don't see where Georgia Tech loses another game this season. And I literally commented and I was like, one of the North Carolina teams. I just had a feeling because they play Wake, Duke, and us because like they demolish UNC.
Right.
Respectfully, disrespectfully. I don't care. But never count the North Carolina teams out. I'm not surprised at all that that's how that game went, to be honest. Surprisingly.
Yeah, when Mike and I previewed it, I said, don't be surprised if, like, obviously it didn't go like this, but if Georgia Tech's only up 7 with
Yeah.
7 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. But turned out it was the other way around. Wake was kind of leading at that point.
Yeah.
And you're right. There were moments in that game where Wake Forest had control and they lost it. Like they missed a chip shot field goal out of 20 from 27 yards out. They got to the red zone a few times and just couldn't convert. Now there was some bad officiating on the Georgia Tech side as well earlier in the game, but ultimately that was the game right there. And unfortunately, Wake had to punt. Georgia Tech got the ball back. They kicked the game tying field goal and then overtime. And to be honest, because this doesn't get talked about because of what happened to Wake, but the 2-point conversion where you didn't have to go for it, I'm actually glad Dickert went for the 2 points.
Yeah.
Because you're there to prove kind of like a statement, right?
Yep.
You're the first year head coach. You're not expected to win this game. You already have a conference loss. You're kind of picked almost dead last to finish.
Yep.
You got 16 at home on the ropes. Yeah, go for the knockout punch. Did I like the play call? No, not really. I think if you have Damon Claiborne, you should use him.
Absolutely,
But
agree.
I liked how he went for the kill shot at home. Just do it. I have no qualms with going for it.
No, I completely agree. It's like if your back is against the wall and you have nothing to lose and you're not supposed to win this game, why would you not? And of course, it always goes the other way too. Like if they get it, then he's the hero. So I hate when people get like super upset about it when knowing that if it would have gone the other way, it would have been the best thing that ever happened. So it's like you can't hate it when it doesn't go your way because if it went the other way, you'd appreciate it. I mean, typical Haynes King fashion, he threw for almost 250 yards, rushed for over 100. I mean, he is the epitome of a dual threat quarterback. But yeah, it was really a bummer for Wake Forest. And that means something when I'm saying it's a bummer for another North Carolina team. And as someone who's also very high on Georgia Tech. So just a bummer all around. Next up, we have Louisville taking the win at Pittsburgh in a 34-27 win. Oh, no, it was at Louisville. I apologize.
No, you were right. It was at Pitt.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yes.
I'm not crazy. Okay. Louisville overcame a 17-point first quarter deficit, and this was their first ACC win. Thoughts on that game?
Man, Pitt. Savannah, we talked about the other week, like potential coaching carousels going on in the ACC. And Narduzzi was one that was mentioned quite a lot. And we said that if Pitt can't figure it out this season, we could see Narduzzi being gone at Pitt. And to blow a 17-0 lead and then a 27-17 lead at home is not really acceptable at this stage of the game for Narduzzi, right?
Yeah.
Louisville did come out very, very slow. I was not really impressed, but I was impressed with the comeback. I mean, look, going out on the road is tough. Getting your first conference win is tough. I think we're seeing it all around the country that any win is tough.
Always. Going 1-0 every week is so difficult.
It is. And I think in this era of college football where things are more in a level playing field, we really don't have like a dominant team or a couple of teams right now this season. You could argue Miami, you could argue Ohio State.
Yep.
But anybody that's like, teams 5 through 25 really are going to struggle this year. And Louisville's not in the top 25, not yet. But this was a good victory. It was kind of sloppy, but they were lucky to get the win.
Totally.
I don't know what's happened to Eli Holstein either. That's just a bummer.
No, that's a good point. Like, didn't even think about mentioning him because feels irrelevant now.
Yeah, like going into the season when I did my top 5 quarterbacks in the ACC going in, I had Holstein at 2.
Oh.
Like I was very high on him because with the injury he had last year, Pitt collapsed. They started 7-0, finished 7-5.
Yeah.
And that was all, I think, because Holstein was gone.
Yeah.
So he affects that team. It has been kind of quiet on his part for a little bit.
No, I totally agree. I didn't know this. Pitt has lost 7 straight games against Power 4 teams. I literally would have never guessed. If someone would have told me that stat and said, "Who is this?" I would have never guessed Pitt. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other side of that, we have Miller Moss, who popped off. He had almost 350 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 were in the fourth quarter. This game had 6 turnovers.
The old Big East. Old Big East football.
That's crazy.
What do you think? I want to ask you, what do you think of Louisville like right now? Are we thinking that like, okay, the ACC, they had to get a 3rd team in the college football playoff, which is still on the table. Are you feeling more confident in Louisville or are you feeling more confident in Georgia Tech getting that 3rd spot?
Georgia Tech. If Haynes King is healthy, it's Georgia Tech.
Okay.
What about you?
See, because Louisville still has to play Miami. And that's going to be a tough game. Georgia Tech's schedule does get easier after. It's already in its easier phase right now until they have to play Georgia.
And that's a non-conference game. So, like, there's room for error there.
Right. Exactly. And Louisville has to finish with Kentucky, but they will beat Kentucky at the end of the year. So there really there's room for error there too. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I lean Georgia Tech because I think they have the easier schedule coming up. So we'll see.
I agree with that. I think that's true. I also truthfully have been watching Georgia Tech more than I have Louisville, just the way that it's like shaken out with the schedule. So I know more about that team. So I think that probably adds to why I feel more confident about them.
Yeah.
But I also have questions about Duke because is Duke good? Duke might be good.
Duke is strange, but I think we're about to see this team rattle off a lot of conference wins right now. I think we all got kind of got played on like how they started off, right?
Same.
When you look at that Illinois game, that was actually really close up until the fourth quarter. Like it doesn't show in the box score, but that game was very close. And then you go on the road, you're playing albeit a G5 team, but a G5 team that's looking to get in the playoff. Like it's Tulane, it's USF, it's maybe JMU and Boise State, right? So you're on the road there. The Tulane fans are really excited about it.
It's also an emotional game with the whole quarterback debacle.
Right. Darian Mensah coming back home after 1 year is nuts how that happened. I I shouldn't be surprised, but Duke did play a Syracuse team that is down Steve Angeli, or Angeli. I'm sorry. So I think that played a big effect to it. But
True.
this Duke team, I think it was just going to be a matter of time, till they rattled off some wins, kind of found out who they were. Because it was kind of a tougher schedule than what people give them credit for when they started off. I mean, Illinois is good.
Yeah.
And Tulane's fighting for that spot in the CFP. So
Yeah.
I'm ready for Duke to like rattle off some wins here.
And the rest of their schedule leaves way for them to do well because they have Cal at Cal. I'm not saying Cal's bad. The 3-hour time difference until there ends up being more wins from the team who has the 3-hour time difference, I'm always going to choose the team who doesn't have the 3-hour time difference. And to be honest, Cal was a great example of that this week. They beat Boston College and the 3-hour time change. So,
yeah,
I mean, they have Cal. That's probably, and then they have Georgia Tech. That's probably the hardest stretch left of their season. And then they have Clemson at Clemson, UConn, Virginia. Okay, that's tough. And then UNC and Wake. So other North Carolina state schools, the state of North Carolina schools. But I feel like their schedule almost puts them in a good spot.
Yeah. Clemson's down. I think Duke is going to be, I think Virginia is going to be a wild card because I think blow for blow, that's going to be a fun quarterback matchup.
Yes.
Mensa and Chandler Moss, or Chandler Morris. Sorry, Miller Moss, Chandler Morris. Yeah, I think they should beat Wake. They should beat Carolina. Like they're nothing going into the season for Duke has changed for me. Honestly, like I did have them beating NC State. I did have them beating Syracuse going into this season. So nothing had much has changed. I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, totally. Will said best comeback of the week was it Louisville over Pitt, Georgia Tech over Wake, or Cal over Boston College. And then this can segue us into talking about Cal over Boston College. But which one do you think was the biggest comeback?
Well, might as well transition because Cal had an amazing comeback. Not only that, but to go out on the road to BC after laying a goose egg against San Diego State last week, 34-0, and beating Boston College at home. I mean, that's my answer. That was impressive. So
it was.
Yeah. But what's your answer? Louisville is yours. Louisville Pitt.
No, I think I'm going to agree with you because it goes to everything that you said and what I also just said about the 3-hour time change. The 3-hour time change is like almost undefeated. Like there's only been like 1 or 2 wins of the 3-hour time change since the West Coast schools were added to the ACC, or even the West Coast schools were added to the Big Ten. Like nobody survives the time change. So that,
well, I mean, look what happened to USC this week.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't happen very often. Yeah. So I think it's also probably that for me. I mean, that game was memorable. I mean, and like you said, to lay a goose egg and then have JKS throw for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. Awesome. Great. Obviously, didn't let it get to him. Didn't let it phase him. I'm sure Stanford football updates is going crazy that we're hyping up Cal. Let's see.
I know. But yeah, he was That's true. That's true. I don't know why they didn't, but yeah, JKS has been awesome. Wilcox was another coach Mike and I talked about potential hot seats. Really, it was Wilcox and Narduzzi that we were talking about a lot. And we both said, like, if Cal goes on the road and loses to Boston College after laying the goose egg, like Wilcox seat becomes like on fire. Yeah. Right. And I think he's saved his job and gave himself more time in this season. I mean, they're 1-0 conference. It was a dramatic turnaround in a week to go out east. I came away out of this weekend super impressed with Cal, probably the most impressive any ACC team, maybe besides Virginia, which is hilarious because last week I was so disappointed in them.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And to do it all with a freshman quarterback is also crazy. Like truly. Yeah. So I think that's insane. Unfortunately, I didn't want to end with this game, but the Boston College Cal game came up, so we talked about that. But first off, I feel like I can't start it off any other way than thoughts and prayers to the Elliott family. Can't imagine. Losing your daughter who was young to cancer. May she rest in peace. Sorry, but just really tragic week and been under wraps, I guess, but doesn't make it less devastating when it happens. So thoughts and prayers to his family, and I'll tweet it out later just for those who care. There's like a link to donate to the foundation of the type of cancer that she had. So just want to shout that out. And remind myself that some things are bigger than college football. But yeah, super disappointing, upsetting, bummer game. The Virginia Tech NC State loss at home to a Virginia Tech team who is without a head coach. To be honest, the offensive line didn't do very well. It was definitely their worst game of the season. So, thoughts on that game?
Savannah. I don't know, man. That was like bottom 3 loss of Day Doran's NC State career. Like,
so sad.
A couple of weeks ago, ODU ran it up against Virginia Tech at home. Like 45 points, I think it was. Like, it was a no joke beatdown. I don't know what happened. I didn't understand the play call at the end on 4th down where State needed to get in field goal range. I mean, you have the best running back in the ACC. Use him. Like, I will die on that hill. If you've got an elite running back like Hollywood Smothers, I will go on my sword knowing that he can get that first down. If he doesn't, I will live with that. That is totally fine. I don't know why they forced it like that. It was just an overall sloppy game. Kudos to Virginia Tech. I mean, I think there is this thing where in college football, or in any sport really, but I think we see it in college football a lot. When a team fires their head coach, they kind of get a little bit of a bump.
Yes.
And then they rattle off a couple of wins you don't expect. Like, maybe that was the cancer in the locker room. Maybe Brent Pry was kind of holding back what this team could do. I mean, look what they did. I get it's Wofford, but they put the beat down on Wofford for their first win. And they come on the road to Carter Finley, to a decent NC State team who has been battle tested all year.
Yeah, literally.
And so kudos to them. There is something to that when a head coach gets fired and that team just kind of rattles off some wins.
Completely agree.
But I don't know what the future holds, Savannah, for Doran. It can't be just beat UNC and we're good, right? Like, it needs to be more than that, because like State fans see all these other programs like making these leaps and bounds, and part of that is because NIL and transfer portal, right? Like, you always see a quick turnaround nowadays with programs. Like, look, Florida State, they went 2-10 last year. They're one of the favorites to win the conference this year and get back in the CFP, right? So I don't know what you being the a family member of a coach on the staff, like what were your thoughts? What's going on? Because because this offense is so good. And I get the O-line was bad this week, but the O-line has been so consistent all year so far up till this game. So what were your thoughts? What's it going to look like?
Someone says, he says, like, if Dorn loses to UNC, I want to say, are you new here? But I know you're new here. Dorn doesn't lose to UNC, especially in Carter Finley.
Doesn't lose.
Yes.
Dorn doesn't lose to UNC.
Look, I obviously don't have an objective take on this. So I mean, no, you know that, but just so everybody knows that my take is not objective on this subject.
Right.
Dave Dorn and the Dorns as a whole are like, I had a very different, and I have said this before and I'll say it again. Before my dad coached with him, I had a very different opinion of him. And not that he cared, right? Like, who cares what I think of him? But coaching for Dave Dorn is definitely one of the best things that has ever happened for my family, right? Like, he is one of the best coaches I've ever got to meet in my life. And my dad hasn't worked with a ton, right? He's been retained most places he's gone for a long time and only left because other coaches left and went other schools or whatever the case may be. But I mean, I'll never pray for somebody's downfall, never root for somebody's downfall, but whatever's meant to be will happen. And if that if that does happen, it'd be a bummer. It'd also be the end of the tenure of my dad at NC State. So, I mean,
come on, we don't want that though.
But that's what but like, do you know the percentage of coaches that get retained when a coach leaves or gets fired is 1%?
It is
1%.
Yeah. Because I have seen, with my family, we've worked with the Wake Forest staff, and it's like one or two guys that are left over from the previous staff. I mean, we just saw it with the Clausen era ending. There's like one or two maybe that are still there. So
and no, like, I understand it. Every coach has their people and they bring their people with them. And if they can't bring their people with them, they ask their people for references, right? And then they bring those people with them. Someone said, real talk, if he is done after this year, retirement or otherwise, I hope we can retain Roper, 2J, and Locklear. I mean, I think that's so weird. I think Gavin, would probably, Coach Locklear would probably stay. Of those three, he'd probably be the one that got to stay. And I don't mean that to say like I wouldn't want I love NC State, I love Raleigh. It has nothing to do with that. But he's the one that is an alum. He has relationships. He's the closest in age to those players. Like, if I were going to be the new head coach for whatever reason, I mean, my dad's a great coach. Roper's a great coach, but you're going to bring your own offensive coordinator, and you're going to bring, and your offensive coordinator, the only coach they're going to care about bringing is their O-line coach. And so the likelihood of, if it was of those three, it would be that one. Stanford update says, we could use Coach 2J at Stanford, just saying, hey, he is from Northern California. He'd move back. I don't know if my mom would, though. Just kidding.
Coach 2J, just be the NC State head coach. Why not?
My dad's been a head coach before, so it wouldn't be his first go round. And matter of fact,
he's done a great job. He's getting guys to the NFL. I think every year since your dad has been at NC State, he's had at least one guy get drafted in the top 3 rounds.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The last one was who went to the Packers in the 3rd round?
AB, but he went in the second
round.
Round.
Second. Okay. Yeah, 2nd round. All right. Yeah. So your dad's doing a good job, but
no, and it's not personal. And like I said, I know they didn't do well this week. And he knows they didn't do well this week. They all know they didn't do well this week. So no,
yeah.
I know. And I think my dad's a good coach, and that is objective. Like, you can just take the stats of how coaches do, and he is one of the good ones. So, I mean, do I think he's the best because he's my dad? Yes. But if I objectively view it, he's still one of the better O-line coaches in CFB for sure. Yeah. Head coach Sav would not retain her dad. I could never be a head football coach. Ever. I don't know anything. No, Coach 2J has definitely been a head coach, and he won 3 national championships when he was head coach at junior college. And I feel like, not to make this about that, because my dad's so happy and loves working with Coach Dorn. JUCO coaches are underrated in the NIL era because they are very used to roster turnover because players only stay for 1 or 2 years. And so I think that that's definitely my dad having coached in junior college for so long, something that like helps him with this era of college football, to be honest.
Yeah.
Someone said probably hardest on themselves in the film room. Yeah, it's so funny. People always like comment and tweet and they're like, oh, they're playing like shit or whatever they feel like saying. And it's like, don't you think I know that? Don't you think they know that? Like,
right. Yeah.
Why are you tagging me for what reason? And also like, why are you tagging me? Tag my dad. I mean, I don't want him to get hate, but like, what am I going to do about it? It was so funny. I guess we'll end it with this quickly. Thoughts on College Game Day going to Vandy at Alabama instead of Miami at Florida State?
Just, what are we doing? Is it because like they beat Alabama last year? I mean, I don't know. Like, this is so atrociously bad. Like, if you're a fan of a team in the ACC, you've been waiting for, I don't know, 20 plus years for these two teams to be really good at the same time. And it hasn't happened since Miami joined the conference in 2003, I think it was. What are we doing? These teams are, I think Florida State dropped way too low, in my opinion. But we're talking like 2 top 25 teams, one of them being number 2 in the country. And you're going to Vandy and Alabama? Like, I get it. Diego Pavia's a story, and Alabama got the big win against Georgia, but it's so boring. It's like so boring to me.
Yeah.
Like, Florida State, Miami, that's a rivalry. That's like one of the biggest rivalries this conference has. And you're not going to have game day there?
I mean, I'll say this. I know that if FSU wins at UVA, game day's in Tallahassee.
Right.
For sure. So they did it to themselves. And I still don't agree with it in the sense in the ACC homerism that I have. And to, like you said, we've been waiting years for a rivalry like this to exist. This rivalry to be this good if you are an ACC fan. And second, like the other point too, is it's like goes to this point of Alabama doesn't interest me. How many times has College Game Day gone to Tuscaloosa?
Yeah.
Like, go to Tallahassee. Like, go to these other places. Stop going to the biggest game of the week and just go to college campuses and have the college campus experience. Every SEC game day this year has either been SEC, Big Ten, or both. Which, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. They're SEC homers.
ESPN. I don't know. I think it's there's a lot of bias to it. I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as saying Saban being on the staff has to do with it. I'm sure part of it does, but that wasn't like the first thought that occurred in my head. I just thought like SEC bias, like Vandy's kind of a story, even though like they were kind of a story last year. I don't know. I think it's kind of bull. And you brought it up, even if Florida State lost, which they did, like that shouldn't be like a problem. I think, you know, they're both top 25. One of these teams is number 2 in the country. It's an in-state rivalry. It's a conference rivalry. I'm befuddled, and they just continue to show their bias against the ACC, I think.
No, 100%. 100%. Speaking of that game, I know we'll do like projections for this weekend, but how do you think it's going to go? Who do you think wins?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. What's the line? Do you know what the line is right now?
Let me see. I'll look it up right now.
That Miami defense has just improved so much.
Yeah, like, and their O-line
is astounding.
Astounding.
Okay,
The
let's say
line is, oh, it's about to probably accidentally play a video. The line is, oh, that's weird. I usually look at it on ESPN. I don't know why it pulled up weird there. -4.5 for the Knowles because it's there. Oh wait, there's no
really.
way. There's no way. Oh, -4.5 Hurricanes. Canes.
Okay, I was about to say that's a little shocking.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I just didn't have it all the way loaded yet. So Canes -4.5.
Yeah. I think when you made that mistake, that kind of just gave me the answer. Like, really, Florida State is favored. Yeah,
True.
I think right at the moment, I do lean Miami. I think having the bye this week was huge. Their D line is fantastic. Wait, undefeated FC. Oh yeah, like that's a great point. If undefeated Florida State can't make the playoff, how is one loss Florida State going to make game day? That's a great point, Jason Santiago. Thank you. That is a fantastic point. I guess I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
hilarious.
You stumped me there. You stumped me.
That's hilarious.
I do lean right now at the moment Miami. I think having the bye week before this game was huge. I think Carson Beck is playing really, really well. Not to say Tommy Castellanos isn't. Tommy had a good game against Virginia. I just think this comes down to defense. And right now, I do lean Miami's defense a little bit more. My question for you is, if Miami wins this game, are we calling it for Florida State's playoff hopes? Like, how much longer can they endure losing? I mean, they still have the Alabama win. I think that's still going to hold up.
I do think that holds because I think Alabama wins this weekend. I think they win against Vandy. And then they are at Mizzou, and then they have Tennessee at home. I think Alabama maybe loses one of those.
Right.
But I think that they win outside of that. So I think you're right. I think that Alabama win holds. Hold on, I need to show this. I swear we will get to this. I did not mean to miss the Stanford San Jose State game. We will go back to that. I swear. Anyway, I do think though, I think if they lose another game, if they lose to Miami, they have to win the ACC championship. That's the only way that they stay alive. And I know this year is not automatic bids for title winners or whatever that was. But I mean, okay, Florida State isn't going to lose to Pitt. They're just not. They may lose to Stanford at home because it's at Stanford. You said when they come to Stanford for a 10:30 p.m. EST. Hey, like I said, I'll always pick the team not traveling. So you might be onto something there. No, I think that, and then they have Wake, Clemson, Virginia Tech. They're gonna lose to NC State at home. They're gonna lose to NC State on November 21st.
Wow. All right. I like it.
I think they're done. I think they're done.
Say they lose to Miami, win out, but they don't make the ACC championship game. Let's say Georgia Tech wins out. Are we still thinking that Florida State still has a shot? I mean, they would have to, right? I think 10-2, win over Alabama.
And then a loss to like a probably ACC champion Miami.
And like maybe 8-4 Virginia. 7-5 maybe.
Yeah.
It would be tough. Like the path, I think there's still a path. Is just going to be very, very tough to navigate through. They're going to need some things outside of the conference as well to help out. Like they're going to need, because I'm sorry, the committee loves to suck off Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is still ranked. Like they were when they started off 0-2, they were still number 24. So you know that if Notre Dame wins out, they have a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, what were we saying? Like they were undefeated and they didn't make it. What makes us think that a 2-loss Florida State team would make a 12-team playoff? I don't know.
That's actually such a good point. That's literally such a good point. Yeah, like I think you're right. I think a lot of things have to happen outside of the ACC for a 10-2 Florida State to make it.
Yeah. They would obviously need Alabama to like go
win
on a
out.
tear.
Yes, pretty much. They need Alabama to win every single one of their games except for maybe one.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. I also just know how much they hate the ACC, and the chance of them giving us 3 teams is slim to none. If they don't have to give us 3 teams, they're not going to.
Which is crazy to me because like this conference is so much more wide open this year. I mean, we still have 4 legitimate teams that can make the playoff in Florida State, Miami, Louisville, and Georgia Tech. And shoot, you could probably throw in Virginia right now. I mean, their only loss is on the road at NC State. They have the win over Florida State. You know, who's to say like Virginia can make some noise down the road?
Yeah, totally. Totally. Okay. My bad. I missed Stanford, San Jose State. I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch this game.
On the ACC network too. Can you believe that?
I am so sorry. I didn't watch this game. I don't even know what time it was at. That's my bad. So what happened? Give me a rundown, Nick.
To be quite frank, I didn't watch a lot of it. But they did win 30-29.
I knew it was close. That's all I knew.
Yeah, it was close. And all I'll say is Stanford is definitely not the worst team in this conference. I think you can pick a few other teams that, in all seriousness, are below Stanford. I think, yeah, Virginia Tech got the win against NC State, but they're without a head coach, and they still have to play the rest of their season. Carolina looks really, really bad. Pitt has not been looking good. BC, who Stanford beat, is not looking good. So I am pleasantly surprised and kind of happy that Stanford is taking some baby steps here throughout this season. I think it's going to be a long rebuild. I love what Andrew Luck is doing. And I know it's the same thing I keep saying every week with Stanford because their losses haven't looked bad. And they're, you know, this game yesterday was a loss last year. They blew this game in rivalry week against San Jose State, and they should have won. So I think that's another step in the right direction. They're 2-0 in their last 2. They're undefeated in conference, and they just can keep it going. I love what I'm seeing from Stanford. I think Stanford has quietly risen the bottom level of this conference so far.
True, and I agree. This is not me being a hater. This is facts. UNC is bad.
Yeah.
UNC is definitely worse than Stanford. And so I guess I need to atone for saying that I think that Stanford is the bottom barrel of the ACC because they are not.
No, they're not. And we talked about Florida State, Miami next week for all the wrong reasons. Clemson, Carolina is going to be awesome. I cannot wait for Clemson and Carolina this weekend.
Real sicko mode.
Yeah. Like, who would have thought? The ACC has 2 amazing games next week. Florida State, Miami, and Clemson, Carolina for all the wrong reasons.
And it's at UNC. Somehow that just makes it even better.
It does. It absolutely does. I think it makes it way better. Way, way better.
Someone said Belichick will be gone by the end of the year. He does not want to be there. I will say that his vibes are giving, I don't want to be here. Maybe I just don't know the man. Maybe I didn't watch enough of him coaching the Patriots, but something is off. Or am I crazy?
Yeah, I think it's the little Jordan Hudson 24-year-old that's with him all the time. I mean, it's become so obvious now that that's the problem. Like, you can't deny it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
This game is going to be so crazy. Like, if Clemson loses, I'm so intrigued of what Dabo's going to say. And then if Carolina loses, it's like, this program is such a dumpster fire. It's fire again, fireworks for the wrong reasons. I mean, I'm very intrigued because it's gonna be crazy.
I will be locked in for a noon Clemson at UNC game this Saturday.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
What are the chances Dabo stays?
If he loses to UNC this year, not high. Not high.
Does he? I think he'll fit. If he loses to UNC, I think he'll finish the season. But I think he will be let go. Does anybody pick him up? Like, you have to make the call, right?
Yes, you have to, because here's the thing. Regardless of how you feel about Dabo Swinney personally, anybody, the man's knows how to be a champion.
Yeah.
And until he proves otherwise, until we are proven that it wasn't him and it was his coordinators when they were champions, which might be the case, right? We don't know. Until it's clear that it's that, like, you have to respect the fact that he's a champion. You have to make the call. At the very least, to have a role like Ruffin McNeil does at NC State.
Yeah.
Just kind of like an advisor and the head coach if something happens to the head coach. Like, you can't just he's not done in college football, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
But losing to Bill Belichick and this UNC team this weekend, I agree. Like, the press conference will be hysterical.
Yeah. Like, you can't say anymore like, oh, I'm still just learning how to coach, Yeah. I'm 55. I'm still learning this thing. So crazy.
Oh, man. That's so crazy.
So I don't know. I mean, there are schools obviously looking right now. Arkansas, Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
More will open. I think Florida is eventually going to open.
Yep. I think when Florida opens, Ole Miss inevitably opens.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Yeah.
I'm not writing off Auburn either.
Or LSU, to be honest.
That's a good one. LSU. See, that's what's crazy. Like, I've been looking at this season like from the LSU perspective, and it's like LSU has not looked good at all.
No.
Like, in week 2, when we saw Clemson struggling with Troy, and we saw LSU not putting up points against Louisiana Tech, it was like, both these teams aren't really that good.
Correct.
So,
yeah,
LSU could come open.
Yeah, I was called crazy for picking Ole Miss to win. But, like, Ole Miss is a good team, and LSU hasn't had to play anybody good yet. Their best 2 wins still are because they lost to Ole Miss, Clemson, and Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a world where you said Pitt becomes available.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I see that.
Coltish, Coltish a little bit.
Yeah.
Auburn and Clemson. Yeah. So I could see that. I could see Dabo picking up the call from Auburn.
I could too. I actually think he would be a good fit there. I will die on the football hill that the worst thing Auburn ever did was fire Gus Malzahn. But hey, I think Dabo would be a good fit there. I do agree. I think musical chairs starts with Florida because, like I said, I don't see a world where Lane Kiffin would refuse that job, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's a lot of SEC for an ACC channel, but we will talk more about the coaching carousel in the ACC, I'm sure, this week. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I'm excited. I am truly excited for Florida State Miami. That's going to be a great game. I am still upset that game day is not going there. No, that's about it for me. Thank you for having me. I'm always glad to come on whenever you need. So it was fun.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. It's fun to recap the ACC with other ACC homers. So that's my favorite way to do it. I'm happy that you were here. Grateful that you joined. Where can we follow you?
All right. Well, my Twitter is right there at Dioli74. So I try to be a little funny on Twitter. Not only talk about college football, I talk obviously college baseball a lot, especially in season. So that's my personal, and you can catch Micah and I on Just Means Less ACC. I believe the new tag for that is JML_ACC. Mike and I do a show once or twice a week. This week is only going to be once because of my troubles today. But yeah, so keep up with us. Obviously, Savannah, you've been on our show a couple of times. We'll probably have you on tomorrow, or I'm sorry, Wednesday. But yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everything. Happy Monday night, everyone. That is a week 5 recap on